Hey everyone, welcome back to my Loom kitchen, and today I'll be showing you how to make this ice Loom frozen yogurt, or it could be a soft serve in a cup. This is made in one piece, fairly simple to make. The link below this video should take you to the recipe page where I listed the number of bands needed for this creation as well as all the colors I used. So check that out, come back, and let's begin. An item that you could pre-make before we start would be the rim of the cup, and it looks like this. So what you do is you take two bands of your rim of your cup color, wrap it around your hook twice, take another two, wrap it twice, then you take two bands and pull those wrap bands through. That's it. You will need 16 pieces of your cup rims. For the garnish portion, you could use any of the garnishes that I've previously used in my past tutorials, from my cocktails to my loom pies. And I have links to all those tutorials on the recipe page. But today I'll be making a leaf with a blueberry on it. It's actually a mashup of my leaf garnish and my regular blueberry garnish. So you take your loom, and I have a broken loom here because we'll only be needing two rows and a few pegs. Get a green band, double it up, go down twice with those doubled up bands. Another green band doubled. From the topmost down here, go down twice. Then another doubled up green, crossover band here, and another one here. Now take a single band and wrap around this peg 3 times as a cap band. Now we're going to loop it up from here up and on the sides. Hook through, pick up the topmost band, loop it onto itself, hook through, pick up the band, loop it onto itself, now the first row. Now you're gonna lift everything off except for this last top bag. For the blueberry, I'm just taking like 5 bands and I'm just gonna wrap it around my hook. You can do it once if you want it a little big, or if you want tighter, you could go 2 rounds around your hook. I'll keep it on 1 and take a single green band, pull it through. Now I'm going to keep one end here first to hold it. I'll put my hook through the leaf portion and I'm going to pull that green band that's attached to the blueberry through. Now I can remove my leaf off that bag, take the other end of that green band attached to the blueberry and the leaf now. And this is my blueberry attachment. I'm not going to tie it off, I'm just going to keep it loose on that holding band and I'm going to set it aside for later. So let's start. We're going to be using our regular loom. If you could remove the center row and have the remaining 2 rows facing on opposite directions. My front row is facing to the right and my back row is facing to the left. I will be making a traditional Loom frozen yogurt. So my color is white. Take 2 bands of your ice cream or yogurt color and wrap it around your hook twice. Then you take 4 bands and pull that through. Now you take the ends of 1 pair of bands and you place each end on one side, on one peg on each side. Now you take the other pair, the ends of the other pair, and place it as an X on the pegs beside it. Now we're going to do 1 round of double bands. So 2 bands on the top, 2 bands on the bottom, and 2 bands on the side. Now we're going to lift the lower 2 bands on all 4 pegs up and over. From these 4 pegs, we're going to extend to 6 pegs. So we're going to extend this band here. So I'm just going to pick up those 2 bands, and if you did the sides last, it would be the top 2 bands. And extend it here to the side. I'll do the same here on the other side. Then we're going to do 2 bands on top, those 3 pegs on top, bands below, 2 bands on the side. Lift all the lower bands up and over. Should be left with 4 bands on each peg, and these are the 4 bands that we just laid out. The second round on the 6 pegs, I'll be putting my first garnish. You don't have to be placing garnishes on all the spots. I'll be showing you where we are. So right now we're here. So if you wanted to place something here, you could. If you wanted to place something just at the bottom, you could do that as well. But I'll show you where we are at each point so you can decide whether you want to place a garnish portion or not. So I'm going to take my blueberry garnish. Now on the second round, I'm going to get 2 bands of the yogurt color, and I'm going to place it so it has to be facing in. So that's my first garnish. 2 bands here, 2 bands with the garnish attached, another 2 bands on the side, 2 bands here, 2 bands here, 2 bands here. Now lift all the lower 4 bands up and over. Now I'm going to extend from the 6 pegs, I'm going to extend it to 8. So this band again from this peg, take those upper 2 bands, bring it here, and this one extends here. Upper 2 bands, move here. Then we're going to do 2 bands again on the top and the bottom. And the sides. Lift all the lower bands up and over. Let's repeat that round. If I fast forward to speed things up a bit, please feel free to pause your video at any time if you need to catch up. So we finished the first level, and when I say level, this is the first level. This is the first level of our swirl top. And if you can see that my swirl has a tilt, like one side is higher than the other. So we're about to start this level. Now, so that I keep things on the same side, I'm going to have the higher portion of our levels on this side. So I have a marker. I'm going to place a band on this end to show myself this is the side where I'm placing a band here as a marker to show that this side is where all my elevated areas are. So we're going to go from level 1 to level 2, take 2 bands, and exit out to here, down here, exit out all the way up to this peg. So 4 pegs from this, the 4th peg from this new start. Then another up to here on the back portion. Now we're going to lay double bands just on those portions where we X'd out the top. Something flew out. So now we're going to lift the lower bands. We're going to ignore this peg, the last peg on the front portion. And now each peg should have 12 bands on it, on those areas where we just added new bands. We're going to ignore the lower 4, and we're only going to pick up the center 4. Lift those up and over. So you're left with the 4 top bands and the 4 lower bands from the first level. Same with this. Just pick up the center 4 bands. So this is the level 1 4 bands. This is the new top 4. This is a new extended peg, so just pick up the lower bands, lower 4 bands. And you're only left with 4 on this peg. On this side, take the center 4. On this center 4. And do not touch this peg as well. Now we're going to add on. So we're going to X out to here from where we stopped on that first round. X out on here. We're going to extend this, exit out to here. And extend it here. Now we're going to do 2 bands on all 10 pegs. Okay, again, on this, we're only going to pick up the center 4. On this peg, this one has more than the 12 bands, so you have the 4 below, 6 in the middle, and 4 on top. You're going to take up the 6 pegs in the middle. So you're left from 4 of the new bands and 4 from level 1. Over here, pick up the 4. Over here, pick up the 4. This is a new extended peg. Pick up the lower 4. And this peg, center 4. Just pick up the center bands, leaving the 4 top new ones and the 4 lower ones from the first level. Same here. This is a new extended peg, and pick up the lower 4. There are only 4 left. Now we're going to do, we need 2 more rounds on this level. Now you're going to pick up all the lower bands, even from the first level, and you're only going to be left with the 4 bands that you just placed on top. Okay, so one last round on these 10 pegs. So we've finished 2 levels. We're now going to the 3rd level over here. So I'm going to look for my marker, make sure I do my increases on the same side. You're going to extend this here to here, and you're going to create excess on the tops up to here. So 3. So same thing as we did on the previous level, we're going to lay double bands just on top of the areas that we just X'd out. Now you're going to ignore the bands here, don't lift anything. You're going to take the center bands on this peg, center 4, center 4, this is a new peg, so just a lower 4, center 4 here, center 4, and ignore the bands here. Now we're going to extend this again, X here, here, and here. Here. Now double bands all along these 12 pegs, all around these 12 pegs. Now we're going to lift, lower 4, center bands here, leaving the top 4 and the bottom 4, all the center bands.
This one is a new peg, extended peg.
Just lift the center bands and leave the top 4 and the previous bottom 4 from the previous level. right? And push everything down. Then we're gonna do our third round on this level. We are at this point. I'm gonna pop it up first just to check. So mine is here, so I'm gonna add one somewhere here. So this is the third round on this level. I'll take 5 of my blueberry color. Do 1 round on my hook. Single blueberry band. Pull it through. I'm going to pull 2 of my ice cream or yogurt flavor through. And I'm going to place this here. Now continue with your rounds. This time we lift all the lower bands up and over, including the ones from the previous level, leaving only those 4 new bands that we placed on top. Right? You can push it up if you want to see how it's going. Pull the tip up. So 1 more layer on this third level. So we're moving to the last level of our swirl top. So you can see that we have one, this is the first level, second, third. Now we're going to the fourth. Back to our area with the marker so you know your extended side. And I'm going to extend it here, X. And I'm going to go down the front with X's up to here, the fifth peg from this new starting peg. And on the back, do this, the fourth peg from here. Now we're going to lay bands again, just on the areas where we X'd out those double bands. So lifting the bands up and over, ignore this peg first. Let's lift the center four bands here. Center four here. On this new peg, just pick up the lower four bands. Let's do the same on the other side. And ignore that last peg. Now let's extend it again to here, starting from where you left off here. Extend this here. Extend here. 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 You stop where you left off from the other side. Now you're going to lay double bands again, this time all around. We're now on 14 pegs. Now we're going to lift the centers again, leaving the lower previous 4 bands and the upper 4 bands. On this new pad, just lower 4. Okay. Now we have one last round. Lay down all your bands, double bands on these 14 pegs, and this time we're going to lift all the lower bands up and over. So that's it for our swirl top. So we can move on to the cup portion. So before we move on to weaving the cup portion in, I wanted to add like a cluster of blueberries that like peep out from the cup portion, from the lower part of my yogurt to the cup portion, to the cup rim. So take a few more of my blueberry bands. This time I'm going to wrap it twice so it's a little tighter. Pull that band through. And I have like 2 more that I made earlier. So I have a cluster of 3 blueberries. Here. Then I wanted to add this somewhere here. Or maybe I'll put it here. So I'm just going to pick up one of the white bands or one of the ice cream or yogurt bands, and I'm just going to pull that through here. And put it back. Now we're going to weave our cup colored bands through. So you take two of your cup colored bands, put your hook through the first peg, place one end here, and I'll place the other end here temporarily. Hook through the next peg, pull two bands through, one end on the previous peg, the other end replaces that peg. Just going to repeat that all around. Place that peg with one end and put the other end on the previous peg. Last peg. Now take this other end from the first peg and put it across here. So we are currently on 14 pegs, but for the cup portion, we have to be on 16 pegs. So we're going to lay out our cup bands. We're going to X them out on 16 pegs. So that's extended here and extended here. Now just fill up all the spaces with X'd out bands of your cup color. So after extending your bands, you're going to take your pre-made cup rims and you're going to lay those all around the 16 pegs. So after you've laid down your rims, we're going to lift the lower bands up and over. So this is an extended peg, so just the lower 4 bands. On the areas where your swirl top is connected to, you have to completely ignore those lower 4 bands that you weave through. Sorry, I missed out one. So in this, if you can see, you're going to ignore the lower 4 bands of that weave and just lift the center 4. So we're going to do one more round. Actually, we're going to do 2 more rounds on top of the rim attachments. So lay your cup bands again. Again, we're going to lift only the bands of the rim portion, not the ones attached to the swirl top. One more round on top, and you can push everything down because this time when we lift all the bands up, we'll include those bands attached to the swirl top. Push everything down. So we're now working on the cup portion that goes under the rim. Push this up if you want. Now we're just going to lay double bands all around. This is the first round. Then just lift all the lower bands up and over. We're going to be needing 4 more rounds of just laying down your bands. on the 16 pegs. You can pause your video and do 4 more rounds. Unpause when you're done with the 4 extra rounds for a total of 5 rounds under the rim, and we'll resume from there. From these 16 pegs, we're now going to decrease to 14 pegs. So on this peg, take the top 2 bands, and it should be this band coming from here. So let's bring it forward over here. Lower 2, bring it opposite. Let's do the same on the other side. 2 upper bands on this peg. From here, bring it opposite over here, and bring the lower 2 bands to the back. Push it down. Now we're on 14 pegs, and we're going to lay double bands all around. And after laying down those double bands, we're going to lift all the lower bands up and over. We're going to need 1 more round. This is our second to the last step on the 14 pegs. So same, double bands, and then we lift all the lower bands up and over. For our last step before we close, we're going to lay single bands all around the 14 pegs. Then when we lift all the lower bands up and over, you should only be left with 2 bands on each peg. So now we're going to close. And we're going to close starting from this peg. But first we go across, put your hook through, pick up the lower band of the 2 and lift it up and over to the starting peg. Now put your hook through the starting peg and push those upper two bands back and pick up the lowest band and bring it forward. Let's repeat that. Put your hook through, pick up the lowest band, bring it forward. And we're just going to repeat that all around. On the last peg, only one, bring it forward to that starting peg. Now you put your hook through, get a single band, put it through that peg, and tie it off with a slip knot. Now you can help your yogurt cup off the loom. Now you just need to shape it a bit. Your lower portion should look a little bit this way. So all you have to do is tuck in those edges in, keep it flat, and shape the cup better. You could stuff this creation or leave it as is. It's completely up to you. And that's it. So I hope you like it. Enjoy your Loom yogurt cups.